Hello and welcome to the Bike Show. Let's kick off with some action. Husqvarna's 2016 motocross models have just arrived and Donovan has very kindly agreed to go and test them and make, as usual, a bit of a fool of himself.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at the Syringa Motorsports Park and we're here with the 2016 Husqvarna motocross range. And I'm not quite sure why we're here, because as everybody knows, Husqvarnas are just KTMs with a different sticker kit and a higher price tag. However, our director has told us that we have to do a proper investigative journalistic piece into these bikes to see what they're like. So what I thought we would do is compare them with KTMs, just to show that they're the same thing. And luckily, a few weeks ago, Grant Ferrix was here riding around this very track on the new KTM. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to first show a piece of the KTM going around, and then exactly the same piece with the Husqvarna, and we'll see how they compare. Let's go. Right, as you can see, clearly Husqvarna's not up to the mark. The KTM's completely outperformed them. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day. Right, I've just had a chat with our director and he says I'm being a complete idiot and I must let Grant ride the motorbikes. Fair enough, he can have a go. Okay, it's possible that Grant is perhaps a slightly better rider than me. And perhaps when we said that Husqvarnas are just KTMs with sticker kits, we were not telling the whole truth. Yes, Husqvarnas are made by KTM and they do use the same engines, but there's certainly more to it than that. We said that the engines are the same smaller, lighter units as in the new KTMs, and this is true. But the Huskies have a bigger, better breathing airbox, so in fact they actually produce slightly better performance. The mainframe and the swing arm are mostly the same as the new KTMs, which means that they are lighter and more rigid than the previous models. The subframe is very different because it is made out of lightweight carbon composites, making these the first ever standard MX bikes to ever have carbon in their frames. The front forks make use of traditional metal springs, which is different to the KTMs that follow the Jap bikes in using air forks. Opinions on whether the performance of the air forks is better than the standard one differs from rider to rider, but whether traditional forks do have an advantage is that they require far less maintenance and upkeep. Other upgrades include a set of Pro Taper handlebars, which every Pro MX rider will nod at appreciatively. And if you look closely, you'll also notice that the styling is sharper, more aggressive. Plus the new ergonomics gives the rider more room to move and more grip around the knees for support. More than the bikes themselves, Husqvarna has a completely separate department, both in the factory and at the local importer. Plus it has its own independent dealer network. But hey, I can blabber on about the spec sheet all day. Let's rather hear from the experts. Now we're very fortunate to have with us now 12-time South African champion Richie van der Westhuizen and a newly signed Husqvarna rider. Now obviously there's a lot to ask you, but before I do anything I need to ask, how does having a beard influence your riding?
Well, having a beard is manly, so if it can help me be more tough on the track, then I'm all for it. So,
I agree.
So, yeah.
Do you find, like, you know, these MotoGP bikes have got big wings on the side? Do you find that kind of helps, you know, gets the bike more planted? I found that.
Nah, sometimes I feel it flapping in the wind, but yeah, that's only when I'm going super fast. So.
Fair enough. Now, you've won SA titles on, let me get this right now, it's Suzuki, Honda, KTM, Yamaha, and now Husqvarna. How does Husky compare to all those other brands?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I haven't had much time on the bike, but from the little time that I've had on, it's really, really good. Obviously, we had the launch today, and I spun a couple of laps around the track, and immediately, second lap, I jumped everything, and I felt super comfortable. It turns really nice. It's actually very light for a 450, so I'm super impressed.
Well, we couldn't get you off this 250. You obviously liked it.
Yeah, the first time out on the bike, I felt a little bit shaky. I haven't been riding lately, so I took it out again, and yes, I fell in love with the bike. It felt really amazing. The power delivery of the 250 is, I mean, unmatched actually at the moment. So I was very impressed with this bike today. The only thing I didn't like was the forks, but as with anything suspension, you know, it's set up.
Yeah, but KTM and all the Japanese guys are all going air forks. Husqvarna's stuck with the old school metal, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, at the moment it's just Husky and Yamaha, and I mean, I personally own a Yamaha, and I love the fact that it's got conventional forks. You know, this whole race about air forks, you know, I don't agree with. I think it's all just marketing. But yeah, the forks were better than most air forks that I've ridden. And yeah, apart from them being quite harsh, especially on the beginning of the stroke, you know, when you're hitting into braking bumps quite hard. But I'm sure that you change.
It's just set up, isn't it?
Yeah, just set up. You change a few things.
Everybody who buys a bike sets them up, and these come straight out of the crate like this.
I mean, yeah, literally the mechanic told us he's not allowed to touch the forks today. So
yeah,
literally it came out the box, bike got put together, and we came riding, and it's a great bike.
You got off the 250, you look quite enamored. When you got off the 450, you were shaking slightly.
Yeah, I think the word to use is terrified. I
use that word a lot.
That bike was scary for me. I mean, I don't ride every week, you know, I'm no professional. And I got scared of that bike. It has got heaps and heaps of power. And the things just happen so quickly, it's unbelievable. You're coming into the turn and all of a sudden the turn's there, the braking bumps are there, the jump's there. Everything's just so much faster, and to try to get my brain to comprehend that, yeah, I was scared. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it.
Now then the one in between, the 350. Now when we were riding the KTMs, you liked the 350 the most.
Yeah.
How did this 350 compare?
Yeah, the 350 was really good today as well. I mean, it's a happy medium. You know, it's a really fast 250.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great.
So the 450 scares the crap out of you, but you don't want to look like a girl on a 250. You get a 350.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm becoming one of those lazy riders where I love the 250, but you have to ride it hard. You have to attack the turns, you have to brake late, you have to get on the gas early. You have to really hit your lines to make some of the jumps. Whereas the 350, you can get a bit lazy, you know, come out, grab a handful and...
I noticed on the 450, you're getting arm pump.
I get arm pump getting out of bed in the morning.
I don't know, from one professional to another, I found when I really hit that big tabletop, I was sort of, you know, I was just doing this with my hands.
You relaxing over in the air?
No, you know, while I was in the air, you know, over that big tail, you just do this and then, you know, get some blood flowing. I don't know if you found that.
Yeah, I've tried every single myth. It doesn't.
Don't worry, one day I'll teach you. You'll be as good
thanks.
as me.
I look forward to that day, but...
Okay, my next question is a lot of... the whole point of this shoot is a lot of people say that these are just KTMs with a sticker kit. Is that true? Any truth in that?
Anyone that says that obviously hasn't ridden both bikes because they're different. That's like saying a Yamaha is a blue Kawasaki just because it's made in Japan. You know, they're completely different motorcycles. They got different forks, they got different subframes, they got different frames, they got different way the engine's mounted. It's completely different just because it's got the same power plants. It doesn't mean it's the same bike.
Well, I think I owe Donovan a debt of gratitude. You put your life on the line there, mate. I'm very impressed. And how's the arm pump, by the way?
It's getting there. I mean, I'm slowly working it out, you know, my system, but we'll get there eventually.
I'm not sure that you've convinced me yet that actually Husqvarna isn't just a KTM with a sticker kit. I can't get my head around this.
Yeah, well, everything, it's basically just the engine is KTM and everything else is different. I mean, it's a bit like saying an Audi is just a VW with a different badge. I mean, yeah, they come off the same platforms and many of the components are the same, the engine's all the same, but they're not, are they?
It's a completely different riding experience. And like Grant was saying, you forget about the sticker kits. These are very, very different machines. The one thing about it, though, it's actually more expensive than KTM, isn't it? It's a high-end bike.
It is, again, VW and Audi, okay? Yes, the Husqvarnas are built to be better than the KTMs, but then the price tag, you know, you get what you pay for. At the same time, you could, I suppose, buy a KTM and put a whole lot of extras on it, and then you also get a better bike. So I suppose it depends on your preference, really.
There you have it. Did you understand any of that? I'm not sure I did. Husqvarna good, everything else not quite so good. We'll be back after the break with some interesting charity news.